WWE seems to have pretty much given up on Omos, the big giant guy, like 7'2".
Yep.
Anyway, he's featured in 3 separate battle royals over the past year, last being seen in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal back in April of 2024. And aside from some house show matches, that's all anybody's ever seen of him, apart from, I think his last televised singles match was at Backlash 2023 in Puerto Rico. That's how long we're going back. And where he lost to Seth Rollins. So, what's he missing? What's going on?
What's he missing?
Mm-hmm.
The main thing he's missing is talent. He has no talent other than being, 7'3" or whatever he is. Yeah, he's a giant. He really is. But
he's more like just a very tall man. It's like when I think of a giant, I think of the ogre-like face of Andre the Giant.
Yes.
Something like that. I mean, he's a big dude, but when you say giant, he looks more like a basketball player.
Yeah. Well, the only thing he's missing is agility, timing, look, technique, personality. But other than that, he has everything you need to be a superstar.
Charisma.
He's just not going to. I could have told you that the first day that I saw him walk out there. He's too big anyway. That's his gimmick. And if he went out there and tried to wrestle, he would look more ridiculous than he does now. So he's not going to make it. And it took them 3 years to figure it out. And they put him in 3 battle royals that he won none of them, right?
Oh, none of them.
See? So, and putting him Omos, what do they call him? The African what? Something to
call him fired soon. They won't be calling him at all.
But okay, you're Omos. Let's all be Omos for a minute. I don't want to be in for too long. But you got that check every week or every 2 weeks, and you did nothing. You stayed home. See, him traveling, he can't get on a regular plane, and even in a first, he'd have to have 2 first-class seats to even forget putting him in coach. He can't even get down the aisle. He's so big. So there is a drawback on being that big. At least Andre had a little movement to him, not much. But if you watch some of Andre's matches in Japan, he could do a few things. So he may have been half drunk when he was doing them, but he did them. And Omos, I think that's where we might see him next, is Japan. They'll bring him over, and they just won't wear him out. I think Japan is a better arbiter of whether anybody has any potential or not. And they'll bring him over, and they may use him twice a year for a while, and I think then he'll be done. I don't know what else he can do.
Did you watch that match that I sent you? It was with I put Muhammad Ali. I think it meant Mustafa Ali.
Mustafa Ali.
Yeah. 3 moves.
Well, yeah, but without Mustafa Ali in that match would have no action at all. And I don't even know what program they can do with him, what angle they can do with him. Because I don't think he solicits any sympathy as a babyface. And I don't know, even as a heel, I don't think he has a believability factor about him. So I don't think you could match him up with anyone. Did we talk last week about Bobby Lashley?
We did. Yes, we did.
And I think it's the same problem. Creative. If creative says we don't have anything for you, that's because they just can't think of anything. Sometimes if you're in creative and a name is popped in front of you, what can we do? And they might give you a day to think about it and come back in and give your ideas, what you think you can do with a certain guy. If nothing hits you, and Old Time Booker told me this one time, he says, when you write the name down and nothing is hitting you, it's time for that guy to move on. And it's not personal. It's all business. But if you can think of nothing to do with the guy, the best thing to do is let him go on and find him another place to go and replace him with somebody you have ideas for. Because he can just tie up a spot on the roster that's not doing him any good and damn sure not doing your company or you any good.
Now, I don't think I remember seeing Omos versus Seth Rollins. I sent you the Mustafa Ali thing.
Yeah.
I remember the Bobby Lashley match not being too bad. WrestleMania last year, I think. But with the Mustafa Ali thing, he does 3 moves. I can't remember what one of them is, but one of them is, and I never want to see a giant do this, a running shoulder tackle. And keep in mind that he's like 18 inches taller than Mustafa Ali. Apart from the fact that it's a stupid move for a giant to do, he had to duck and go, like that. He barely touched him. And then he did like that double-handed choke bomb thing, and he couldn't even get him high.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
Well, who trained him? I don't think he's been trained, to tell you the truth. How did he even get into wrestling?
It's a good question. I'm going to actually look that up for you right this second.
And where is he from?
He is from Lagos, Nigeria. So he just signed with WWE. I think he just passed the performance center tests, of height, and they said, okay, well then let's do it. That's it. He's never wrestled for anyone else apart from WWE.
And how long has he been there?
Since 2019. 5 years.
5 years?
Mm-hmm.
And they've done nothing with him.
No, he debuted in late 2020, tagging with AJ Styles.
Oh, get it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're going to move on.
2019, 2020. That's during the Vince years, and Vince literally loved big monsters like that. He liked that, whether they could work or not. But to get him over, guess what you got to have? You got to have somebody that can actually do something, actually sell his moves, actually perform and move around. And you can tell a story like that for a while. But how quickly does it take that act, that performance of Omos, to bore the fans? None of his matches went more than 5 or 6 minutes, 7 minutes at the most, because by the time he spent that much time in the ring, he's already shown what he can do, so it's time to go to get a Coke. Mm-hmm. And let's go to the concession stand. It was a concession match every time he went out there.
So just to...
And I'm saying that with the kindest of intentions.
Of course. Battle Royals don't count. 10.5 minutes for Seth Rollins, amazingly. But then everything else is 49 seconds, 1 minute 44. Brock Lesnar went under 5 minutes. I seem to remember that might have been the opener for WrestleMania. 1 minute, 50 seconds, Royal Rumble, 2 minutes 25, 3 minutes. That's the one with Elias that I actually watched as well, 2 minutes 25. And they had nothing but distractions by MVP. They had to stretch it to get to 2 minutes 25 on that one. Anyway, enough about Omos. Let's carry on to the next bit of news that we've got here.
Even Omos is boring for you to talk about. And we've already talked about him more than his matches existed in time.
9 minutes. 9 minutes.
With who?
We've talked about Omos.
Oh, really?
Yes.
What the hell?
I know. Tell me.
And okay, he went 10 minutes with Seth Rollins.
Yes.
And that was all Seth.
Oh, yes.
It was all Seth putting it together because he has enough experience and enough wisdom to know that this match is really going to suck unless I get off my ass and do something.
Idiot proofing.
Because you can't expect Omos to do anything.
What's idiot proofing a match? How would you idiot proof a match like that?
With who? It was Seth and...
Well, yeah, let's say you're wrestling Omos or whoever, or someone other immobile giant like Giant Gonzalez or Elegante, you know.
Well, I'd have the match with the manager, basically. Is what I do. Mm-hmm. I can't do nothing with him, and he starts laughing. I say, well, you bastard. And I try to go after him, and I'd run around, and he'd run around, and I'd slide back in there, and he'd keep messing with me. And finally, at the end, I would have Omos go off his feet somehow. And then all of a sudden, the manager, he grabs at me, but this time I catch him, and I roll him in a ring, and I'd get a that'd be the only time they'd get up. And I'd punch him a couple of times, boom, boom, boom. Then we do the finish quick and get out of there.
See, that's a true
And then
veteran.
and then when I would leave, I'd have a hood and I'd throw it over my head so nobody could tell it was me, and I'd leave. They said, "Who was that masked man that was in there?" And I said, "Shh,
It's
don't
Texas
tell anybody."
dirt.
Yeah, don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody.